Everyone. I am Lindsay, and this is Maria, and we
Hello.
we are Roomies Review the Movies, where we're two old college roommates. And I went to school for film, and Maria has been doing reviews on film for the past 20 years. So we have come together this week to review The Birdcage.
Yes.
Yes, which is one of my favorite movies. And this is Maria's first time viewing the movie. The movie came out in 1996, and it stars Gene Hackman, rest in peace, and Robin Williams. Hold on, hold on,
Also,
hold
some
on.
people.
Yeah, and Robin Williams, rest in peace as well. Also has Nathan Lane
Yes.
and Diane Weist.
And Christine Baranski.
Yes, and Callista Flockhart.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, and Hank Azaria.
Yes.
Yeah, so amongst others. Um, but yeah, so this movie takes place in South Beach, Miami, and Robin Williams' character, which is Armand, and Nathan Lane's character, which is Albert. They are an older gay couple, and they run the Birdcage, which is a gay nightclub, and they put on all kinds of performances and stuff. It's just mainly like a drag show. And it's a
Hmm.
very popular place on South Beach. They've been running it for a really long time. And so the beginning of the movie starts off with pretty much showing the show and showing how packed it is in the Birdcage. It's one of their busiest nights, and you see your mind going through the club, making sure everything is good, making sure T's crossed, I's dotted. And um, then he gets told that there's an issue with the headliner.
Miss Starina.
Yes, Miss Darina, and which is Albert. Albert is going through it basically. He is upstairs having a fit. He thinks that Armand is cheating on him. He thinks that he is old and ugly and he doesn't want to perform. So Armand had to go up there and pretty much talk him off the ledge.
Yeah.
And, yes,
He's pretty
like
much, Albert's always pretty much in a state of high anxiety.
yes. Excuse me. Which is his charm. It's pretty much his charm, and you know, let's see, Hank's character is Algador, and Algador is their pretty much their butler. Their well, I don't think they use the
Yeah.
word butler, but that's pretty
Butler,
much it.
maid, kind of.
Yeah, their do boy, their do boy. He is he I don't know what accent that was that he was using, but
Hank Azaria loves to use some kind of vaguely ethnic accent for all of his humor.
yeah,
This
yeah,
one is
but
supposed to be some sort of Latino,
yeah,
it's
but
not
from
even,
where specifically, I have
who
no idea.
knows?
I never could get it.
No.
So, he, I mean, he's pretty much their do boy and whatnot, and he's up there trying to help him, get ready, and he is, Albert is being defiant, because he is, like I said, he is going through it. He's being, extra dramatic, and they pretty much, know how to handle him. And then the stage manager comes up and he's like, "Do you want me to put such and such on because of Albert not coming down?" So Albert hears that and he's like, "Oh no, I'm
No
going
one
on.
else
Give
can be
me a
the
minute."
star. That's
Right?
why it's my name.
Exactly.
Right? Like
Exactly.
literally
So,
starting there.
yeah, so he gets ready and yeah. So he gets ready and then he they pretty much have the crisis averted, and he goes down and he does his show.
Mhm.
Now, while this particular time, while he's doing the show, Armand goes back upstairs and he starts, getting the place ready. Tells Agador to leave for the he tells him he can have the rest of the evening off. And so when he does that or whatever, he's getting the place ready to accept company.
Yeah.
Now we don't know who this company is at this point. Next thing you know, we see a young guy come upstairs and he just comes right on in.
And it's very much like he's doing it now because this is the only time he would have to do this.
Mhm. Right, right, right. So while he's on, while Albert is on stage, so it looks very sneaky and deceptive.
Yeah.
So, which is intentional. They want us to believe that he's accepting a gentleman caller.
Right.
So he so the guy comes in, he walks right on in. He goes to the pool, and when Armand sees that he's there, he goes out to the pool with him, and they embrace.
Yes, they seem very comfortable together.
Yes, extremely comfortable. And so then they kind of are catching up, and then next thing you know, we hear the guy call him dad. So we're like, oh, okay, this is his son.
Mhm.
So, all that banter and stuff like that. So now we're like, okay, what is he hiding from Albert? Why does he have to
Right.
hide
Yeah.
that his son is coming from Albert,
Why do they have to have these clandestine meetings? Like,
Right.
this is your son.
Right. Exactly. That you raised. So they're having their conversation and whatnot and catching up. And we find out that the son, who is played by where is it at? Who's played by Dan Futterman, his son name is Val. So Val has some news to tell him that because he's back from college, he came back to tell him that he's engaged. And and so
And he's
Armand he's 20. So Armand has a reaction, because he's young and that ain't what he went to college for, So
it's like you're gonna get married, you ruin your whole life.
yeah. So and you're only 20, you have the whole life ahead of you, the whole spiel. Um he also is happy for him as well, because he does eventually embrace him, and congratulate him and whatnot. But it is a big pill to swallow, to tell your parent that you're engaged out of the blue and they didn't even know you had a girlfriend. So yeah. But yeah. So then he goes on ahead and fills him in on who he's engaged to. And who he's engaged to is a representative's daughter. Or a senator's daughter rather.
Yeah.
The senator is Senator Kevin Keeley, which is played by Gene Hackman. Senator Kevin Keeley is part of a coalition for moral decency. He's the co-founder. So he's a Republican, he's very conservative, and he stands on a moral ground.
And his daughter, Barbara, is the one, of course, they're getting engaged to, and that's Calista Flockhart.
Yes, yes. So during this, we see that his daughter, Barbara, the senator's daughter, Barbara, she went home to tell her parents that she's engaged as well. And of course, they have a negative reaction.
Because she's 17? Or she just turned 18?
He said she's not even 18.
Oh, yeah. So, and then she said they've been sleeping together for a year.
So that means that they've been sleeping together since she was 16. But Um, yeah.
I don't know
So
why they felt the need to make her 17. Like,
yeah, like I would have been okay if she was 19, but yeah, because like I always caught on to that, but now, in this climate, you really catch on to that and you're like, wait a minute. And she blurted, it was so funny because she just blurted out, she was like, I've been sleeping with him for a year now.
yes. Oh, okay.
But then again, it's like, why was she not at home? Because they're both supposed to be away at college. So she went to college when she was 16.
I don't know. It
Yeah,
doesn't make sense.
it doesn't. It doesn't. It's never made sense to me. But I mean, you just have to go along with it. So I'm like, all right, fine. She's 17 and he's 20.
And they somehow met at school. Okay.
Yeah, and they met at school.
She
And
was
they've been sleeping
16.
together for a year.
Right?
So, yeah. So, then they get into who is this guy, who's his parents and all that kind of stuff. So she has to lie to her parents because they're, like I said, they're very conservative. He's a senator. He's out there in the public, on this moral ground.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty much his platform.
Right.
Um so she has to lie to her parents. She lies to them and tells them, that they are a married couple and that their last name is Coleman,
Not Goldman.
not Goldman. So,
Because they want to also hide the fact that they're Jewish.
right, right. So he doesn't like it, but what can you do? So,
she also tells him that Armand is a cultural attaché to Greece, whatever that means.
yeah, right, right. And she initially told him that they were in Greece,
Right.
but then they called. And so when Val called with Armand, and Armand got on the phone and congratulated her on their engagement, Senator Keeley picked up the other line to listen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when he picked up on one of her lies and was like, you said they were in Greece. They're not in Greece.
How could you see him this morning and they be in Greece right now? Like,
right. You're not making any sense. So she had to clean up a little bit of her lies, and she was like, yeah, well, they're back now and they're in Miami. So yeah. So they said that they're gonna have to meet them, of course. And then we flip back to Miami, and when we flip back to Miami, then we see that Albert is done performing, and he comes up and he sees that Armand was outside, just chilling by the pool,
mm-hmm.
and he sees that there's 2 wine glasses.
Mm-hmm.
So now he's going off thinking that he didn't saw somebody. And
it's like you're drinking white wine now, and we only drink red wine.
yes. And so he tried to tell him, like, I'm switching to white. It's better for you. So
He was thoroughly like, I got you.
right. Like,
exactly.
So yeah, so Armand tells him, like, hey, Val is here. If you don't believe me, go look. He's in there asleep. So he goes in there, he sees him, and Albert just turns right into mother mode and starts picking up his clothes, and then rubs his head, and then makes sure that he's good while he's sleeping, and leaves. So the next morning we see Albert. He's amongst the community. And you can tell that, like, everybody loves him in the community, all these like small businesses and whatnot that he patronizes and what have you. And then we also see him go to the bakery to buy a cake and have an inscription written on the cake. And then he goes back to the home, because they live in a condo on top of the Birdcage. So I'm assuming that they own the whole building. So, excuse me. So he goes back home, and that's when he has a conversation with Agador and Armand, and Armand fills him in on specifically why Val came home. And that was to tell him that he's married, you know, or not married, but he's engaged. And so with that going on, you know, of course that takes him um, by uh, by surprise, and he has his reservations and whatnot. But I mean, again, what can you do? And so, but of course, you know, Albert is being Albert. He's being very dramatic. And so Val walks in and was like, "Oh, you were told." So,
I can tell you
so
now. Yeah.
yeah, right. So yeah, you know, then they have this whole conversation about this situation, and he's just like, you know, it is what it is. But then he gets a call, or no, we go back to Senator Keeley's home. So Senator Keeley and his wife are having breakfast, and they're watching a news show that Senator Keeley had appeared on, where
Yeah.
they're pretty
Some
much
kind
just
of like
arguing.
right, some kind of debate, whatever.
Yeah,
Round
yeah, the
table.
whole debate show, and it's him and Senator Jackson, who is the other co-owner of the Coalition for Moral Decency. He's also there's this big old thick book that is pretty much the bylaws of the coalition,
Hmm.
and he's proofreading it while he's watching this, and he was like, "This is the best show ever," you know. But they're literally arguing on top of one another. Nobody's listening to nobody. But
Love to
Senator
hear
Keeley,
that.
so Senator Keeley gets a call, and he finds out that Senator Jackson has passed away. Then he finds out how Senator Jackson passed away. Senator Jackson passed away in a hotel room with an underage black whore.
Yeah. A child sex worker.
Yes, right. That happens to be black. So
They give her some kind of odd name. Uh,
yeah,
and they nickname her Chocolate. I was like, oh god, okay.
yeah, yeah. Hey, it's
But
nice.
she's
No.
I know. But she's played by Trina Collette McGee, who played Angela Moore on Boy Meets World.
Yes, and she is very much an adult, because she does not look her age at all, at all, at never, not one time. Like, but yeah, so yeah, because they um the um the some news people had got a hold of her like right after it happened and did an interview. It was real quick. And so but he got the call on what happened. Of course, that goes completely against everything that's in this
Mhm.
big old thick book that he's proofreading.
Every accusation is a confession.
Yes, yes. So he's just like, OMG, what the hell? It's about to be a mess. So with all this going on, his wife is just like, you know, Barbara's about to get married. So why don't we, you know, try to pivot what's going on over here with this? Because she initially was like, you can't be prosecuted for anything that he's done. Like, how they gonna hold your feet to the fire? And that's not how this works. Like, yeah.
Yeah,
So
they're gonna be
especially
looking
with politics.
big.
Yeah.
Right.
You know. So
Yeah. So let's do a classic American style wedding.
yeah. Yeah.
No.
So they're trying to
Traditional.
spin it now. To try to get the heat off of them about Senator Jackson. And yeah, but the news is swarming his place, to the point where he's had to sneak in and out of the house through a window on the second floor.
With a ladder.
Everything. So now they're just like, okay, we need let's go on ahead and go meet. Let's go on ahead and leave town. And they're in Ohio. So they was like, okay, let's go leave town and go meet Val and his parents. So with that idea, um, they can't fly though. It's just too hot. So they said they were gonna go ahead and drive. So they drove from Ohio to
Mhm.
South Beach. That's a
This is
really
crazy.
long ass
It's a
drive,
long
right?
drive. I
There's no way I would have done it. I would have
would
had to drive to the nearest city and then get on a plane there.
right.
Like
Maybe we just wear masks while we're on the flight or something because
something.
no.
There's no way. There's no way. But he can't leave the house normally because it is a firestorm full of news people outside his residence.
Mhm.
So he's like, okay, we need, well, y'all go out the front and I'm going to go out the window again. So he goes out the window. However, all the paparazzi is right there at the ladder
They
waiting on him.
found his spot.
Yeah,
You're
they
right.
found his spot. So he got stuck on a ladder giving statements. Could you
They had to
imagine
crawl
this in
back
real
inside the
life?
house.
Yeah. Could you imagine this in real life? That would have been hilarious. They would have ate him up for 3 days.
So many memes. Oh my goodness.
Yes, yes. So, however, while they were waiting outside, this one reporter, he instead of being in the front of the gate, he went to the side of the gate and he saw the driver loading the car with
Mhm.
bags. And so he pulled him to the side, gave him some money, and was just like, where you going? So he told him that they're going to South Beach. So him and his partner, they are like, okay, well, we're gonna follow him. So yeah, they take this drive to South Beach, like I said, from Ohio.
Yep.
Um,
My
in the
goodness.
meantime, however, they did inform Val that they were coming. So now Val and then
And somehow
Barbara,
they're gonna be there like tomorrow. I was like,
yeah, right, right. So then Barbara did tell Val all the lies that she told her parents about him and his parents. So they're like, okay. So Val comes to Armand and he's like, okay, let me tell you some more information because there's more to this.
yeah.
So he tells him, hey, they're coming down here, but her dad is Senator Keeley. He's co-founder of the Coalition of Moral Decency. They have this whole scandal that it came out about the other co-owner, and these are the lies that she told about y'all specifically. So we need y'all to be a white couple, a heterosexual
We
white.
need y'all to match up with these lies that we told to make
Yeah,
these bigots feel comfortable in your home. What?
yeah, exactly. Exactly. And so yeah, and on top of that, Albert gotta go.
Yeah.
And
You
can you
just
get
actually
my
can't
mom?
hear.
Right. And can you get my mom, whom I've never met? Haven't met her since the delivery.
No.
So
And
can
she was
you
like, how old is he now? Like, girl.
right. Right. So Armand reluctantly agrees, but they're like, okay, Albert is going to blow a gasket, so we're gonna have to figure out this whole Albert situation. So while they were trying to figure out the Albert situation, of course, Barbara and her family is coming down. But the Albert and Armand is a very eclectic couple, and they have collected a whole lot of artifacts that pretty much, screams that they are out and proud.
Mhm.
And
That the conservative senator would find provocative.
yeah, extremely provocative. So what they had to do was they had to get all the all the people that work for the club to come help pretty much de-gay the
The whole
home.
place. And this time, Albert is out with his partner, and they're trying to distract Albert basically, and try and get Albert to agree to go away for the weekend,
Right,
right?
right.
So that Albert can be away without knowing they wanted him gone.
Yeah, and because Albert is Albert, it's not working well to try to distract him while he's out. So he keep on wanting to go back to the condo, and Armand is like, "No, but let's do this. Let's go shopping. Let's go to the beach. Let's go eat. Let's like." He's trying all kinds of things, but Albert is picking up like, "What is going on with you?" You know.
Mm-hmm.
And so, um, he ends up even lying and saying that there's something wrong with his leg. He just randomly yelled.
Scream.
Yeah. And so he's like, "Oh, let's go get an X-ray." Like
Anything not to go home.
right. But none of it works. Albert walks in while they are de-gaying the home, and he's like, "What the hell?" You know,
Have we been robbed?
right? And so, um, Armand pretty much tells him right then, "This is what's going on, and you can't be here." And so, of course, his feelings are crushed.
Yes.
You know, I would, yeah, I pretty much raised you your whole life, and you're
Right.
telling me that I'm not good enough. You know,
Now
like,
you're ashamed of me. I can't be here for
yeah, I
this.
can't even be here. And they was like, because they was like, well, maybe you can be an uncle. And they like, no, you're too gay. You're too gay. And it's just like,
Like
that's
this
too
whole
crazy.
movie is like just taking a poop on Albert. Like the whole movie.
Yeah.
Everybody antagonizes or makes fun or belittles Albert because of how feminist he is.
Hmm. But I feel like that's probably one of the reasons why he's such a loved character in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because I mean, he steals the show. But I mean, it's Nathan Lane. Nathan Lane always steals the show.
Yeah.
So, so yeah. Um, excuse me. So yeah. He, reluctantly agrees because he does. I mean, he just it's some bull at the end of the day. It's some straight up bull, but he reluctantly agrees.
Like kick me out of my home. Like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's some bull. So Armand, he ends up going to speak to Val's mom. And Val's mom is like this, um, she's some type of executive, but she's pretty well off. And he goes and meets with her, and
she
they
built
good
like some kind of
rapport.
workout company through some money that he gave her.
Yeah.
It was like a gym or something.
Yeah. And they have a great rapport still, and they're catching up. She asked about Val, and then he gets down to the reason why he's there. And so he tells her what's going on, and she agrees to go on ahead and do this one solid. And so she was like, but I have somewhere to be beforehand, but I'll be there in time. So so she's on board. They are getting the house together.
Oh no, I mean they're also drinking and they're talking about the first time they met and they're doing show tunes and stuff, and then she tries to sexually assault him.
Yeah, she did try to do that or whatever. And
And
then but Albert came. Albert came in, and while she was in the midst of, rubbing his chest, and then that's another added layer of
right.
Albert blowing his gasket, rightfully so.
Mm-hmm.
Because what am I walking into? You was just supposed to ask her to come over and play mom. Like, what is this?
Mm-hmm. Had
So,
Albert sitting in the waiting room.
Right. And Albert was in the waiting room for a while, and so that was one funny part because like he did something that like made a loud noise, and he was like god, they have such funny little scenes.
They do.
Yeah, and that I mean they just steal the show, and they're like scenes that they could have kept or threw away, like they don't have nothing to do with the story, but they're so funny that it's just amazing. So
Yes.
excuse me. So yeah, so Albert is pissed that he walked in on that, and of course he's being dramatic, and he walks out and he's doing his melodramatic uh a performance. And so but I mean, Albert reluctantly agrees that he's going to go on ahead and leave. However, they are getting closer, and the driver does see that for the Keeleys, the driver does see that they got this car that's telling them, and so they ended up shaking them. So and so yeah, on this long ass ride, they shook them.
Well, they tried to shake them, but the reporters did make that crazy turn.
Yeah, right. So excuse me.
He turned out of nowhere.
Right. So they eventually get to South Beach, and they're supposed to be staying at the Bush's home, at Jeb Bush's home, and
Right.
but they're gonna go meet them, and of course they don't know nothing about South Beach or whatnot. So when they get there, they're like completely shocked on what's going on the outside.
She told them, because when she brought up it was that place, her mom was like, "Oh, is it like West Palm Beach?" And she was like, "Yeah, sure."
Right. Whatever you say, right?
Yeah.
So, but yeah, they are completely shocked on what they see on the outside because South Beach is South Beaching, and and then they see that the condo is on top of the Birdcage, which is this gay club, and they're like, "Are you sure this is the right place?" And they like, "Yeah, it's the right place," and they like pretty much like they can have a place here around this and be okay with being around all this. Like it's kind of not making sense to them, but it is what it is. So so yeah, so they made one of the things that Agador does is he does not like to wear shoes, and he barely wears clothes. And they made him wear a full outfit with shoes.
Because they're like, because Val is so entitled and like ungrateful, like throughout this whole movie. It's incredible.
Yeah.
I'm wondering, like, how did you raise a person like this?
Yeah. Right.
Who would even
Especially
think it would be okay to even ask you to do any of this?
Yeah. Especially because you can tell that he is not ashamed of them.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So like he is completely comfortable. Especially like there was one scene when Albert was looking through an old photo album or a keepsake album.
Crying.
And, crying and all that. And you can look through the pictures and tell that everything was fine. So it's like, wow. For him to be jumping through all these hurdles when anybody else would have been like, I'm not ashamed of my family. You're going to tell them the truth. I don't care what your family talking about, But we wouldn't have a movie if it wasn't.
Yeah.
So yeah, Agador is wearing clothes and wearing shoes, and like I said, he does not wear shoes, so he is having a hard time in these hard bottom shoes.
Walking shoes.
Yeah, it's what. So yeah, and then he has to put on this deep voice. Like he had quote unquote de-gay his voice, so he sounds like Herman Monster, like or Frankenstein or something like.
Yeah, no, they're definitely Herman Monster for sure.
Yeah. So, oh my goodness. So so then they find out like Armand and Val, they meet the Keeleys and whatnot, and they tell them that his mom isn't there yet, she's on her way. Then the mom calls and tells them that she pretty much may not make it because she
Yeah.
is stuck in traffic. She's in bumper to bumper traffic, and it's just not looking good for the home
And
team.
she was 10 minutes away before.
Right, right.
She's in bumper to bumper traffic, and like the drawbridges pull up and everything.
Yeah, it is a complete mess. She is not going to make it. So they get that message from her and they're like panicking, like, OMG. So Albert had to come back for some reason. He forgot something. And so they was just like, okay, plans change. We need you to get in drag and play my mom. So he does it. And it was probably like the best thing he could have done. So um he comes in drag as his mom, and when I tell you Senator Keeley was smitten
Oh
by
my
her,
God. Like he was ready
he,
to leave his wife.
yeah, just say the word.
Mm-hmm.
Just say the word. He was completely smitten with her, and yeah, they had great conversation. They danced. They, um, he didn't even like the way that he thought Albert was treating her. He
Right.
had he
Don't
had
be
a
so
conversation with
ridiculous.
his wife about that,
He's like,
like
I love her. His wife was like, excuse me?
right, right. It was crazy. So they have this whole evening where he's just falling in love with her, right?
Yes.
And so throughout all this or whatnot, they tried to tell his mom, his real mom, Val's real mom,
Not to come.
not to come, but they couldn't get a hold of her. So what they had to end up doing was putting a note on the like the gate door.
On the front gate.
Yeah. And to tell her, like, hey, we'll call you tomorrow, but don't come upstairs. However, as soon as Val put the note there and went back upstairs, the guys that the reporters,
Mm-hmm.
they came and took the note.
Yep.
So they're like, what the hell is going on upstairs, So with them coming to take the note or whatnot, of course, there's no way for Val's mom to know not to come upstairs when she gets there. So they have this whole night. There was one particular part in the night where they are about to eat, and they are sitting at the table. The bowls are plated, and the Mrs. Keeley, she looks at the plate and she's like, "Are these guys playing leapfrog?"
Right.
She was
Is this
like, "I don't have my
a
glasses,
deep
but
prank where they're playing your leapfrog? Like, what's happening?
right." She was like, "I don't have my glasses on, but it looks like they're playing leapfrog. Is that what they're doing?" And so they're asking, they're like, "Oh, I don't know what they're doing. I can't remember. Let me look too." And
Right.
so Senator Keeley was like, "Well, I got my glasses." So our mom had to hurry up and go get the soup. And was just like, "Oh my God, they're looking at the bowls. Like, hurry up and give me the soup," and blah blah blah. So he
Yeah.
comes
And then the
out.
main character was like, I have a girl on mine. Trying to save it.
Right, right. So, so he hurries up and comes back outside. He comes outside with the pot, or not outside, but in the dining room with the pot of soup. And the
Looks
soup,
like some watery chili.
yeah, with an egg. Like, it was weird. So,
Like,
and
this is
then it
what
was
you were
supposed to
spending all
have,
this time coming up with?
right, right. And then it was supposed to have shrimp in it, but he hadn't, Agador hadn't put in the shrimp yet. Like, it was crazy. So he had to hurry up and come out there with the soup so that they could no longer look at the bowls. And so they did that, and it was funny. And so yeah, then they find out that the Agador didn't make a main course.
Right. That was all Anglo made.
He was like, the soup was a main course. Like,
No, absolutely not. Oh my
right.
goodness. So embarrassing.
Right. So yeah, so they're going through it through this dinner. So it is funny. But yeah, later on in the evening, that's when Val's mom comes, right?
Mhm.
So she comes up and she's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm late, blah blah blah." So now the Keeleys are like, WTF?
Mhm. How many
What is going on?
moms does he have?
Right. Like, what is going on? So that's when Val, comes to his senses and he's like, I have one mom. And so he took the wig off of Albert and was like, this is my mom. These are my parents. Our last name is not Coleman.
Yeah.
And this lady right here is the lady that birthed me. Nice to meet you. Like, so yeah. So Senator Keeley is completely confused.
Yeah.
And Mrs. Keeley is like, dude, they're gay. This is a gay couple. Like, what
He's
are,
mostly upset that the mom he was playing went away.
yeah, yeah. And so Albert is just
Where
like,
is she? Wait a minute.
right. And so Albert is like, everything I've said to you this evening, I meant is just one little thing that's changed. Well, not little, but and so he's still like shell shocked, like I don't
Mhm.
know what the hell is going on. So Mrs. Kelly is just like, you know what? I'll explain it to you later. Let's just go. And so they're trying to tell Barbara to come on. Barbara's like, yeah, I'm not leaving. And so that's when Mrs. Keeley kind of has a breakdown because she's just like, I want somebody to pick me. And so she busts
It
out
was
crying.
so sad to me. I know it was supposed
Yeah.
to be funny, but it was also like, oh,
Yeah, it was kind of sad because yeah, ain't nobody picking her.
yeah.
You know. So Senator Keeley did acknowledge that this was his fault. And so then he was just like, I already made your mother cry. Can you just come on? And so she was just like, yeah, I'm sorry, guys. I would have wanted to be a part of your family. And that was sad. That was sad. So when they opened the door to leave, as soon as they opened the door, the reporters are there and they're like, Senator Keeley. And they flash and he hurry up and close the door. And so now they're like, OMG, how the hell are we gonna get out? So Albert comes up with the idea that we pretty much put you in drag and walk you out the front door.
Yeah, walking through the club.
Yeah. So that's what they did. They put everybody in drag and they walked them out the front door of the club. They had them come on stage and have them be part of the finale. And then they went out into the crowd and excuse me.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm good. And so yeah, they walked them out the front door and then they got into the Val's mom's convertible. They got into her convertible in drag. And so they had pulled up next to the driver. And they were getting in the car and Senator Keeley in his full drag told his driver, hey, meet me on the corner of such and such and such and such. And the driver was like, yeah, not on your best day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he
No,
didn't
you're
even
right.
recognize him. Yeah.
Right.
So that
Was the end.
that is the movie. And then the ending credits showed them getting married.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, that is the Birdcage. So Maria, what were your thoughts when you were watching this?
It was very funny. Nathan Lane and Robin Williams are fantastic together.
Yes.
The whole premise is just so weird. Like it's so
Yeah.
weird. It's like again, like who is this that they've raised who would demand all of this of them? and then they go along with it to try and appease these people who are bigots who are in their home. I was like, no. And
Yes.
the ending wasn't really an ending. It was like they couldn't figure out how to really just end the story, you know? That we
Hmm.
gotta get them in drag somehow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so that kind of fell apart for me, but it was entertaining to watch nonetheless. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, very funny.
Excuse me. When I watched it last week, uh I was like, this could be remade.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
With black people. Yeah. And I'll talk to you offline about that. But I was just like, yes, this could most definitely be done 100%, and it would be so good.
I can see
So
that.
yeah, but yeah, so yeah, like I said, like this is one of those movies that used to come on all the time. Like they used to play it on USA and TNT and stuff like that, and every time that it would come on, I would sit and watch it. That's one of them movies for me.
Mhm.
Yep, and I've been watching it since it came out. So.
Yeah, I remember wanting to see it and just never really getting around to it for whatever reason.
Hmm.
But this was not that long after he did, well, I feel like maybe it was like 5 years after Miss Doubtfire.
Um, when was Miss Doubtfire? I want to say Mrs. Doubtfire was like 92, 93. Let me see.
I was thinking 91.
Oh, 93. Yeah.
93. Okay, so
Yeah, so
even
this was
shorter.
3 years after. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
And I was
yeah.
like, "Oh, okay." Because I was like, "Why don't they have him playing the other character?" And I was like, "Oh, this is why." You know,
Hmm.
'cause, Robin Williams usually gives, like, big performances. He rarely ever plays, like, the straight man, right?
Hmm. Right.
And he
But
does have a few moments here where he's doing his impersonations, which are just incredible.
hmm yeah. But when you have a powerhouse like Nathan Lane, you gotta let him cook.
Mhm.
And, excuse me. And I felt like they were like just a dynamic force, those two.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So but yeah. I just I'm I just absolutely love this movie.
Yeah.
Like from the beginning. Yeah. And then, a couple of things, um, because this movie is 30 years old. So it's like,
Mhm.
yeah, a couple of things couldn't fly now, you know. Even though they are playing gay characters like that F word, I don't think that can
Yeah.
go over too well.
I was like,
Even excuse me.
"Do we have to have that?"
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think you can do that nowadays. But even if they are gay saying it, I don't think it'll go over too well in the movies.
Yeah.
So
It honestly, it felt kind of forced and unnecessary in the moment. But
mhm.
I was like, "Okay."
Yeah, but I mean that was the word that they used back then.
Yeah, no, they still use that word now, so
Yeah, they still do. They still do.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's the only real thing that I was just like, yeah, that could absolutely not fly now. Now you may could probably get away with a couple other things. Excuse me. I do remember it being was made so wild that back then it was up in the air, like, is Nathan Lane gay? Is he not? Because he didn't officially come out yet.
Oh.
But he was like, he had played that character so well,
Mhm.
that you was just like, he has to be, right? So recently I read an article where he talked about the press run
Mhm.
because they went to like the Oprah show and everything.
Oh,
And
wow.
excuse me, he said that he did not want to talk about his sexuality
Mm.
while promoting the show because that would take away from the show. And so he said that Robin Williams had his back and was just like, if you don't want to talk about it, we ain't talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just is what it is. And then he said when they were on Oprah, that Oprah was asking um certain things that would allow him the opportunity to go on and say like, hey, this is what it is. But he never took the bait. Excuse me. Because she said that he would ask certain things like, how are you walking in heels so good? So so yeah, so it was
That makes perfect.
yeah, pretty much, because I'm a perfectionist. So but yeah, it was yeah, so it was a conscious effort for him not to come out.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because he was like, during that time, it wasn't the best thing to do. Like it's
Yeah.
not now, it wasn't as celebrated. So
No.
so yeah, he didn't come out until years later.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But
You
yeah,
want to rate the movie?
yes. So let's get to our rating system. So we have 1 movie real trash AF, 2 it exists, 3 entertaining, 4 great, 5 a true classic. Maria, what say you?
I would give it a 4. I think it's pretty great, actually. Um, I like, of course, the performances they're just absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
I think it's worth it for that alone, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
Even though I've already, expressed like some of the things I think they could have done better or done without. But then also, like you said, I could see it being remade, like
Mm-hmm.
very well. So
Yeah.
I'm surprised it hasn't been done yet, actually. So
Same. I thought the same when I thought about it, and I was just like, ooh,
mhm.
you know, yeah. I'm surprised that nobody touched it yet.
Yeah. What would you rate it?
I will give it a 5. It's a classic for me.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. It's definitely a classic. We get stellar performances from everyone.
Mhm.
And it sucks that everyone's not still here with us, but
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, the storyline is good. The cast is good. It was entertaining. It's a 2-hour long movie, but it doesn't feel like it's 2 hours.
No, it doesn't.
So yeah, absolutely. We have India Lauren watching. She says, I give it a 5 because they actually made Gene Hackman pretty and drag along. Right. Right. So that is the Birdcage.
Yeah.
So Maria, what are we watching next?
Next, we are watching Brown Sugar 2002, streaming
Okay.
on Hulu.
Okay, cool.
Hmm.
Yeah, I have not seen that at all. So that's with Sanaa Lathan and the guy. And Stella got her groove back. I'm looking right at him. And I can't think of his name. What's his name? Tay Diggs.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah. Okay. So that's next week. So Maria, where can we find you?
You can find me online pretty much on Blue Sky at valormoredollars.bsky.social. And I'm also on another podcast called Nerdgasm Noir with 5 other Black women where we talk geek. I'm trying to say geek and nerd at the same time. Geeky, tech, pop culture things. So you can come join us over there as well. And where can they find you, Lindsay?
You can find me everywhere at L_Ranelle. That's L_RANELLE. And also on my other podcast, Fish We Talk, where me and my cousin talk about various topics.
Hot topics.
Yes. And we talked about Marvin Sapp this past. So fun times. So yeah.
I don't understand how you're gonna kidnap people and then ransom them. Like,
that was extortion and kidnapping. He should have
yeah.
got charged. Yeah. Should have got charged. Because we never would have paid it.
Never would have paid it without you.
So yeah. Yeah. So yeah, so this was episode 76 of Roomies Review the Movies, and we will see you guys for episode 77.
Yes.
Brown Sugar.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
Bye.